Today on Drawbli.
Ben is painting a rocky landscape.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Abby.
And we are self-taught artists documenting our drawing adventures because art is better when shared with friends.
So click that subscribe button if you're new around here.
And check out our drawing guidebook linked below.
So Ben, what drew you to draw a rocky landscape?
So, in passing, I've kind of been hitting environments a little more frequently. I think I'm gonna take another break from them though, because they're not exactly where my passions lie. But I've been drawing so many faces for so long. I think it's really interesting to draw something different from what you normally do and get to see how much you've grown just as an artist in general. In this case, how much I've grown as a painter in general, which has been really cool to see. Just because I've done so many faces, like I said, it's weird to see and interesting to see how much of that has translated and how much of that has not translated to a different topic. And I feel like landscapes and environments are so very different from painting people.
Oh yeah, they have to be. They have to be. Although I've seen how this one turned out and it's amazing. I feel like whatever there was to translate from portraits to landscapes, you used to the best of your abilities. It's awesome.
I don't know about amazing. I think it gets pretty messy through here.
No, I like this.
I wasn't too sure about this one. I don't personally love how it turned out in the end, but I'm glad that you do.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I really do.
That's very kind of you. Yeah, so you recently also did some animals, which will be shown off here on Drawbli soon, and those were actually incredible.
Thank you.
I can't wait to talk about those more. I think it's really cool to just see, like, because we've been doing people so much, like, what translates to everything else.
Yeah.
And so much of it does, and a lot of it doesn't. Like, I don't know, it's just completely different.
It does. It changes every time. And I mean, every time I go to draw something, I might remember a technique I saw somebody do at one point and decide to try that, and that creates a totally different outcome than I would otherwise get.
Yeah, it's just like a combination of a million little habits that slowly build up into, you know, workflow and that thing that you have.
Yeah.
I also, I've been painting a face upside down, and I'll show that off on Drawbli here soon. And I think that'll be really interesting to see, like, how much of my ability to paint right side up, like, translates to upside down. I heard in a video about this technique and how it can help activate the right side of your brain. So we'll talk about that. We'll save it for when it's done, and I can show it off here on Drawbli.
That'll be cool to see. I've seen that one too, and it's also very good. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, it much like painting environments, it hurts my brain in the best kind of way. I need some help on environments. So if anybody's got some good tips for me down below for maybe some resources or other things that I could check out, I would love some helpful advice. I understand the basic idea of starting big and then like working to small.
You got that down, yeah.
But I do feel like my brush work is pretty messy still, and that might just be a workflow issue. I feel like in a lot of ways my stuff still kind of feels flat. It doesn't feel super three-dimensional. And that might be because I'm focusing a little too much on two-dimensional shapes, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, that's a great question. Maybe more gradients.
Gradients. Oh, that's the answer. No, that would probably help, but I don't know if that's going to be the end-all, be-all for me.
Well, when you say your work looks two-dimensional, I guess that's what I start to think about is like, oh, well, then maybe what can we do to represent light wrapping around a form, something to bring in that three-dimensionality. I think this does convey like a nice sense of like foreground, midground, etc.
Yeah, it does have like that atmospheric perspective that helps articulate that.
There was one artist we saw a video by once, and I don't remember who it was, although I'm sure Lois has said the same thing, that suggested that, you know, every large surface should have a gradient of some kind. So
I'm
maybe,
not doing that.
Oh, well.
Oh my gosh.
You asked for advice, and I gave it.
Wow, I really gotta get into the gradient.
This is why you'll never be great. No, I'm just kidding.
Gradient. You'll never be gradient. Well, have you forayed into the environmental zone lately?
Not recently. I should, though. It looks like, I mean, judging by what you were able to do with it, it seems like it'd be fun. We've seen some artist adventures recently that had some really cool environment pieces that have made me want to. There's so much opportunity to use like very bright, saturated colors that you don't necessarily want to or get to use in a portrait necessarily. So there's a lot of draw there.
Yeah, a lot of draw. Well, we also just got back from a trip to Washington where we got to see some snowy landscapes up in the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
That would be, we could maybe use one of our photos from that trip as a reference.
That would be fun. That was a
Try to
fun
make
trip.
something cool.
It was short, 3 days, but we made the most of it.
Just a few days.
Yeah.
If we sound a little tired, that's because one of our flights got delayed by 12-ish hours.
Yes.
We woke up at like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, something like that. Went to the airport for our first flight, and when we landed, we found out it was delayed by 2 hours. And then that 2 hours quickly turned into 12.
Yes, yes. And so we ended up home, finally going back to sleep 24 hours after waking up.
Yeah.
Which really kind of messes you up, especially when, that 24 hours rolls around again at 4:30 a.m. It's been hard to come back from that.
Yeah, we got home extremely late. That was...
Yeah, I was supposed to meet my mom this morning just to hang out for a bit, and we were going to meet at 10, which is a late morning time, and I didn't think I needed to set an alarm because I don't ever sleep until 10. I don't even sleep until 9, but I woke up and I was like, whoa, what time is it? And it was 10:09, and she was already there, and I felt so bad. So I rushed around. You made me coffee, which was very sweet of you, by the way. And I got ready, and I called her and texted her, and she was, of course, very understanding. She's very sweet about that sort of thing. And we did get to hang out, and it was very nice. And we talked about whatever it is my mom and I talk about, and then...
Wow, what an exciting day you had.
I did. I like talking to my mom, though. We talk about the books we've read recently, which is always fun. She does like to read quite a lot, and so do I, so we always have a lot to talk about.
Well, we can talk more about our Washington trip in our next video, maybe.
Yeah.
But here for the finishing touches, I did use one of my texture brushes that I made a very long time ago that I really like. I can't remember what the name of this brush is right now, but I used to just call it my trash can brush because it's not necessarily useful, but it is fun, and because of that, sometimes it can be a little useful. Mm-hmm. It's what creates all this like different color variation and kind of canvasy texture.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I also like what you're doing here, like blurring out the background and bringing in a lot of that occlusion of the mist and light. That looks really nice.
Thank you.
And it is a gradient, I should mention.
Yes, I did add a gradient to the sky.
You listened to me.
I did.
You.
In the moment.
In the past. You heard me echoing down.
Abby is going to complain about my lack of gradients.
I didn't complain. I merely suggested to somebody looking for suggestions. Mm-hmm. This looks amazing, though, and you did a very good job, and I think you should be very pleased with this. I find it very pleasant to look at.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Your rocky landscape, your beautiful rocky landscape, which imagine now you have a windswept character forlorn along the Irish shores.
I should have added a character.
And someday you will. Someday you'll have a character to add into this sort of scene, and you'll have a beautiful character and nowhere to put her, but now you have somewhere to put her.
And if you want to add a character, click that like and subscribe button and check out our guidebook linked down below.
And share your work on Instagram with #Drawbli because drawing is better with friends.
And this is the part where we say...
Goodbye.
Goomba. A windswept character?
Yes, something forlorn. A little Irish, maybe.